The METASPEED Sky is a critical speed shoe. Both the construction as the materials are very selected, expensive and require lots of precision when put together. Therefore, we will also only release very limited amount. The high-end speed segment is only a small part of the market. The majority of our running shoes are comfortable everyday trainers. We will take some of the key learnings from this great development and apply them to some of our bigger models like the Nimbus and the Kayano in the future.
Hello everybody, hope you're doing okay. Now, I thought that little clip there from Asics about their METASPEED Sky was interesting. Not only for the facts about the shoe, but the bit of a revelation at the end that they're deliberately saying that they're not making many of them. And they really want people to buy their Nimbus and Kayano shoes because they're the more everyday ones that people want. Well, it's kind of odd, isn't it? Because all these super shoes are always in really high demand. And there's always a bit of a scrum to get them. And when you turn up for a race, you see like everybody's wearing them. So, yeah, it's a strange sort of marketing policy to deliberately say we're not going to make many shoes, but we really want you people to wear these everyday ones. So I was curious to pick up a pair, but unfortunately they only go up to UK 12. Now, I thought that wasn't necessarily so bad because the METARACER here, I also got in a 12. Now, normally a 13, but the METARACER did come up quite long. Unfortunately, the METASPEED Sky in a 12 feels more like an 11. So this is a bit of a not review of the METASPEED Sky, but a bit of a sort of a talking point for why are these companies making so few shoes and why they're now even admitting that they're not going to make many and people have to make do with their everyday shoes. Now also it's extremely annoying because not only they're not making many shoes, they're not obviously making these past the UK 12. And I'll show you in a minute on foot how even the UK 12 is not even consistent with their other UK 12. So to me this feels more like a UK 11, so it's probably the best part of two sizes too small. But yeah, if you look at those shoes like the Nimbus and the Kayano, they both go up to a UK 15. So not only are they not making many shoes, they're not making shoes for the full range of people that might want to buy their shoes. So what am I going to do when I see that? I think, well, I think I'll just head back to Nike or Saucony or Hoka. You know, I don't really like Hoka, but at least those companies do actually make shoes in my size. And I think we could perhaps add Adidas and to a certain extent New Balance to the companies that really don't really cater that well for people with large feet. And obviously it's not going to affect too many people. But I think these companies are serious about attracting as many runners as they can. Why do they not offer all their shoes in the same range of sizes as Nike now do? And I think it's no surprise that Nike are by far the world's top running shoe brand. And like them or loathe them for whatever reasons, they do actually come out with shoes that people buy and put on their feet. So anyway, enough of that rant. I'll just show you on feet before I send these back to sports shoes. I got them for £225. So with a bit of luck, somebody who really is a size 12 or maybe 11.5 or in 11 will be able to buy them because I won't even go for a run in them because they're so small that I can barely put them on. Anyway, let's see if I can do that in a sec and just show you what I mean. So here we have the METARACER on my left foot and the METASPEED Sky on my right, and both of these are in a size UK 12. Interestingly, they say they're a centimetre size of 30.5. Now normally in centimetre size I'm a 32, so that's not a good start, but I think Asics' centimetre size is a bit odd. I haven't quite figured out what exactly they mean. But you can see here in the METARACER, then I've got a reasonable amount of room there in the toe box above the toes. I'd say it's about 3/4 of a thumb width. Certainly it's enough to feel like I can run in these. I did about 5 miles in these last night just to remind myself. Whereas with the METASPEED Sky, literally there's no room there at all. My big toe there is so pressed in against that. Just sort of having the shoe on now feels uncomfortable without even going anywhere. There'll be absolutely no way at all that I could run in these. And in fact, if I stand up, and you can see there, there's absolutely no room there at all. So I would say that even if they did a UK 13 in this shoe, that's probably still going to be too small. Whereas in the METARACER there, I've got a bit of gap. And because it's such a small shoe, it actually doesn't feel actually too wide for me. I think I have seen that these do come up wider. I think the METARACER is quite a narrow shoe. So I've taken my shoe off now. I'm actually quite relieved just walking back from my chair there, back of my cabin to here. It was quite uncomfortable. So there's absolutely no way I'm going to be running in these. And obviously I'll be sending them back completely unused. In fact, the other one has still got the label on it. So very brief specs. I did actually weigh them. And in this size, which I think is a very small size 12, it comes up 246 grams. That compares with 235 grams in the UK 12 there in the Next Percent. I got that pair originally because originally they didn't seem to be doing a UK 13 in the Next Percents either, and I did actually wear those in a couple of part runs in a couple of 10Ks and did okay actually. They're a bit small for me, and I certainly much prefer the 13, but in terms of actual usage, then I can actually get them on my feet, a bit like the METARACER. Never really warmed to the METARACER. I think they're very low to the ground shoe. I put it to the Adizero Pro, that said, in that class of 2 low profile carbon racer shoes, but I don't think it's a shoe that really tested very well for me at all in some of my shoe offs. Next Percent beat it very easily. And although it's quite a nice sort of fun shoe to run in, and it's certainly not a heavy shoe. It comes in just a bit heavier than these two at 257 grams. And when I was going out on a few miles last night, I did sort of notice uphill it's quite nice to have a lighter shoe on, because normally my sort of everyday shoes are well over 300 grams, and you certainly feel when you're going uphill that extra weight. So that was nice. So yeah, I think maybe I'll try and get out the METARACERs a bit more for some sort of speed sessions or something, get a bit use out of them, because I've only done 30 miles. But yeah, unfortunately, these METASPEED Sky is going to go back. I think they'll be a promising shoe if they fit you, but there's no way I can really give you a review of how they are just by putting them on the feet and being in pain. Quick look at the back, and quite a sort of nice perforated outsole. I think they really cut the shoe to the bone here. One thing I thought was interesting, I measured the stack height in the shoe I've got here, and it's about exactly 40 centimeters. So I think they actually measure the default heights on about I think a size 8, something like that shoe. So I think in the bigger sizes they do have slightly more stack. But also I noticed that the stack in the middle of the shoe is actually higher than the back. Whereas if you compare it to the Next Percent, then definitely the most amount of stack there is at the back of the shoe in the heel, and the midsole is not quite as high. So an interesting little sort of style difference there. And this is only a notional 5mm drop. But I just wondered, with this extra stack in the middle, where it's going to feel like more like a rocking sensation. So maybe it won't feel quite like a 5mm shoe that, say, the Hokers do. But anyway, that's all pure speculation on my part. Even if they did a UK 13 in this one, I'm not sure that even that would be long enough. And clearly, as they said, they're not going to make many of these. And it looks like the METASPEED Edge, which is the one supposedly for their cadence runner, as opposed to this one for their stride runner, somebody who increases their speed more by doing so with their stride than by cadence. Although, of course, everybody increases their speed by both stride and cadence. It's a bit of a total misnomer that you can't do one or the other. There's only so much you can increase your stride, and there's only so much you can increase your cadence. So both have got to be increased to a certain extent. But I think what they mean is that there are some people that actually have a very long stride, and they generate more speed by proportionally having a greater stride. I can sort of see where they're coming from, but it would be nice to be able to test these two shoes out, see whether that actually works and which one's best for you, and almost in a way to see whether you could almost style yourself to be a slightly different runner. I mean, are they saying one way or the other is better? I also have had a sort of relatively high cadence, but a lower stride length, obviously in proportion. But then despite the fact I'm quite tall, because most people who are tall naturally have a longer stride and a lower cadence. So I seem to buck the trend. Maybe that was because of my days on the track. Anyway, that's more food for thought. And if anyone's got these shoes or planning on getting them, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Certainly worked very well for Beth Potter in that recent 5K in the UK when she did an unofficial world record of 14:41. Which is way quicker than she has been doing. I don't think it's totally the shoes, though, because she's been doing some extremely good performances in triathlon. So I think she just has improved her fitness. Clearly, the shoes haven't slowed her down, but I think to say it's all to do with the shoes is always a big, big mistake. And one of my other videos that I'll link to showing the marathon standards have been rising before even the 4% from Nike came out. So there's always more reasons than just shoes, I think, in these things. People sort of forget that the amount of hard work that runners have to go in, and even sort of amateur sort of hobby runners like myself. You can see some of my sort of training videos that we're out on training most days, still trying to get around the track somehow as best as we can. And we just don't go as fast as the main problem at the end of the day. So I hope you found this little video interesting. Not really a review at all. So if you're looking for a review, apologies. It's not what it's meant to be, but just a bit of a talking shop about this shoe and the way things are going generally with super shoes. If this is the way it's going to be with limited demand, limited sizes, then, well, perhaps I need to stick to the brands that actually are catering for the likes of me who do have bigger feet. Anyway, hope you find this interesting. I look forward to seeing the next one then. Like and subscribe and all that. And bye.